Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your socials. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. Remember, all these things that you do, take a couple of seconds of your time. They're completely free of charge to you. They help to grow the channel. Thanks for your support. We are here. If we have to do it, we've got to do it. We've got to discuss that dog with fleas. West Ham United 0, the mighty Everton 0 that took place at London Stadium yesterday. I'm joined by my younger brother. How are you, Ben? You having a good weekend thus far?
Very good, mate. Well, the game maybe not so much, but other than that, yeah, I'm doing all right, mate.
Okay, good.
And
good.
it's always,
Well,
I always find it's a double whammy when West Ham don't. Yeah, we didn't lose, but it wasn't great. And then England got done in the rugby. It's like all round bit of a shit sporting weekend, to be honest.
yeah, that didn't sort of lighten my mood. I at least thought when I come back, I thought, well, maybe I would have thought Australia wouldn't have enough for England, and they put 40-odd points past us at Twickenham. Are we allowed to still call it Twickenham? Well, fuck it, I'm going to. The Allianz Stadium. You there, Ben?
I'm here, mate. Although the connection doesn't seem great, unfortunately.
We'll plow on. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I'll put the referees. They didn't really have that much to do. The referees, the fourth officials. There was no real contentious decisions. I mean, there was barely any play on the fucking pitch, if I'm being quite honest with you, Ben.
Really?
Now I know, obviously, before we went live, you obviously sort of told me that you've seen very little of the game. So
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to fill you in on a lot of things. And you guys in the live chat, please feel free to get your comments in. We've got a couple of you sort of chipping in. We've got Adrian, dismal adjective causing a mood of gloom or depression, depressing, dreary, current West Ham performances. That pretty much encapsulates it.
Bloody hell! I mean, I thought it was bad, but I didn't know it was. We were all depressed. Like, I mean, even the weather's shit, isn't it? It's like right.
Yeah.
It is doom and gloom at the minute. But
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Ben. I'll get my little presentation up onto the screen, and you can, and it'll tell a story as it goes along, and you can obviously sort of get a bit of a feel of what went on yesterday afternoon. Walshy, thanks for popping along, mate, with your blue spanner there, waving it around with no consideration for anybody else's safety. Kent's in there as well, and turgid, boring, predictable football. Apart from the last 5 to 10 minutes, that was pretty much both halves, to be honest, Kent and Ben as well. Just to sort of give you an idea, fuck all happened in either half, other than the last. As Kent says, the last 5-10 minutes was really where we had a go. And other than that, we offered nothing.
Well, I think, Rob, before we get into the game, should we talk about the team selection?
If we must, I believe.
Because having not really seen much of the game, unfortunately, that's an opinion I can offer. It's just, I must admit, I find these selections quite baffling.
Get into it.
I'm finding his selections really quite baffling, Rob, because for me, I mean, broadly speaking, that's probably the team I would pick, yeah? But Antonio and Paqueta have pretty much been hauled off the last, pretty much all season. Like the last sort of 3-4 games, they're starting, playing absolutely appallingly and getting hauled off. But then the next game they start. And
Yep.
you're just like, what is this guy? How does the penny need to drop for him to think, actually, they shouldn't be starting?
Yeah, no, I agree. They're the two. I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate, and I've been saying it for a little while, as you'll know. What does Danny Ings have to do? I mean, I'm not saying he's Robert Lewandowski reincarnated, but for fuck's sake, I mean, Antonio has been dog shit this season, and when he's come on, Ings, whatever you want to say about him, he's affected things in the final third of the pitch. I mean, he finished the game yesterday. He had a cameo appearance. He had 2 shots that Pickford had to produce saves for. It wasn't like they went high, wide, and handsome or anything. They were proper shots. Pickford had to really sort of pull off good saves to prevent them going past him into the back of the net. I really don't know what is Antonio, how is he starting every game? And the thing is for me, we're doing this every single week where it's start Antonio and then change it after 60 odd minutes. And sometimes it will be Ings that comes on and sometimes it won't.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, well, let's change it. Why don't we try? Here's something revolutionary. Why don't we start with Ings and bring Antonio on for the last half an hour? Let's try it. Let's see if it works. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like so, from my point of view, Rob, like I say, the starting 11 was a bit, was disappointing just to see the same old team pretty much churning out every week and not playing well. I mean, there was one glimmer of light for me that Ollie Scholes got on the bench. But I mean, for me, Rob, one thing that it feels at the moment there's a disconnect between the team and the fans.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And for me, a massive part of it, and I don't think I appreciated how much it affects my sort of feeling, is that when I look and there's not one academy player, even on the bench or in the team. I mean, I know there was one yesterday. That for me, I'm just like, I feel really disappointed. Do you know what I mean? So, I think Lewis Orford is looking a real talent, and I don't know how he's not even on the bench when our midfield is so shit.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, I've said for a little while now that I think that Paqueta is done fuck all, as we've all agreed, and he still keeps getting picked. I sort of go, well, Orford or Irving surely is a better bet in that role. Surely they'd be able to bring a little bit extra. They'd certainly bring no less. I'm pretty convinced of that. And yet every week he gets picked. I just don't get it, mate. I really don't get it. I mean, what this fucking clown of a head coach, manager, call him what you want, is picking the same shit week in, week out, and it's not performing, and he'll fucking pick it again the following week. I don't understand it, mate. Honestly, yeah. I think the geezer is a fucking charlatan, and I said it on a group chat that I was on yesterday, and I'll say it here. He's taken David Moyes' team, which I think was on its last legs. I think we're all agreed and needed freshening up. He's been given £155 million in a transfer window. Now, whether all the players are his or whether they're not is neither here nor there. He is a coach, and his job as a coach is to improve the players that he's been given, right? He's taken this team backwards. We might have a better starting 11. We might have a stronger squad than the end of last season. That's possible, arguable sort of as a point. But in terms of what we're achieving on the pitch, he's taken this team backwards. With £155 million of investment, he has taken this team in the reverse direction of travel.
Yeah, and like I say, Rob, I agree. And it's like, for me, like I say, you look at the players that we've brought in, like Rodriguez, Soler, it's like they're just here not for the paycheck, but like I say, I think how much nicer would it be to see a Lewis Orford starting over players that, quite frankly, are journeyman players at the end of their career, they don't really give a shit, really. Do you know what I mean? You know, they might get stuck in, but they're just going through the motions. That's what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It just looks like everyone's just going through the motions. There's no fucking intensity. There's no one's going around going, fucking come on, let's get into them. You know what I mean? It's just fucking pretty dire at the moment. But I don't know. We kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, it's probably the only positive you can take. I mean, I'll take what you're saying there, Will. You know, there is a responsibility on the shoulders of the players, but I just wonder whether that they've just given up with this geezer already. I just wonder whether they've just gone, this cunt is no fucking use. He's, you know, I can't play for him. I can't put my shoulder at the wheel. Now, you could turn around and say it's a really unprofessional attitude when you're earning the sums of money, but they're human. You know what I mean? If they look at the guy in the dugout and they just look at him and go, I haven't got a fucking clue what you're asking of me, because you look at his pre-match, post-match, mate, I struggle to understand him. The players, I'm pretty sure, are sitting there going,
I mean, not
about?
wanting to go back to like last week. Didn't that Carlos Soler play on the left wing?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, you know, this is a guy. I mean, I'm not a Carlos Soler fucking expert, but this is a guy. I don't think he's probably ever played left wing in his life.
No.
Why the fuck is he out there? Do you know what I mean? It's yeah, it's baffling, really, Rob. It's baffling. But I think, look, I've seen a few clips. Somerville looked like he'd give it a good go.
He's our best player, mate. 100%.
Yeah, and the clip that I see was actually of him tracking back and making a fucking goal-saving tackle.
Yes.
And I thought, that's a guy that has got a bit of passion and a bit of heart and a bit of intensity. He wants to prove that he's a good player. And
Yes.
you know, he's got to stay in the side now. For me, even when Kudus comes back, that will give us another option. So look, Somerville was a ray of light on an otherwise quite gloomy afternoon by the look of it.
Yeah, no, he was our best player by far. And the thing that I get frustrated about is that despite the fact he was our best player, I don't think we utilised him enough. I think that our play was so pedestrian, it was so slow. I'd have been saying his direct opponent is the only fullback in the Premier League who suffers with rigor mortis. You know, Ashley Young. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We should have been getting the ball to Somerville at every opportunity to say to him, you see that old cunt there at right back? Fucking roast him. Yeah. Go at him. Tear him to shreds. He won't be able to last 90 minutes against you. He will make mistakes and you can capitalise. And we weren't getting the ball to him, A, often enough, and B, when we did get the ball to him, it was telegraphed. They knew what was coming and they could prepare for it. We needed to be getting the ball to him quickly. Yeah,
man. I really like him as a player. So look, he's going to have a good run in the side. And look, he did impress, but then he come off quite early, didn't he?
I can't remember when he came. He did come off, yes, but
how did Gil Herme look?
He looked all right. You know, it's probably not enough time to really sort of judge him. I mean, I don't think he, you know, I don't think he did anything horrendously bad. I don't think he did. He looked like, oh my God, you've got to get him in the team, sort of like next week. It was just, one of those.
I mean, Rob, from the reports that I hear is, look, the thing is, goals change games, don't they? I know that's quite an obvious statement to make, but I think it seems we run into, I mean, we hit the post. I mean, the first half, Rob, fucking hell, I was keeping an eye on things. The stats were appalling. Yes. Fucking, I think I don't think we had a shot in the first half, or maybe I think we might have had a shot, but that was like with 5 minutes to go. And literally with half an hour gone, it was 0 shots on target or off target. Yeah. And Everton had fucking 7.
I think we had 2 shots right at the death of the second half of the first half.
Yeah.
Like I say, up to that point, mate, you're right. We were just offered nothing. Pickford was a spectator up to, I think he made 2 saves right at the closing embers of the first half. That was his action. That was it. You know,
I mean, look, a bit. You've got to look on the bright side always a little bit. But I think, look, the second half, it seems we improved, and I think it sounds like it was. We ran into Jordan Pickford on a bit of an inspired day. So I think, look, on another day we could have lost. On another day we could have won 2-0, and we'd be sitting here saying, yeah, it was all right, but at least we got the 3 points.
Yeah, but we didn't. You know,
We didn't.
I look at it now, Ben, and we're going away to Newcastle. Our next 2 fixtures are away to Newcastle and at home to Arsenal. I do look at those fixtures and go, "Ooh, that could be tricky." You know, this was a game against a team that so far this season have struggled more than we have.
Yeah.
So we, as the home team, surely we should have been imposing ourselves on them 100%. And I don't think we did it enough. I just think a lot of our play was, like I say, I used the word earlier, pedestrian. It was very, very slow. It'd be forward a bit, little bit back and over there and then back over here. And it was just boring, mate. It was boring. The crowd were bored shitless. There was barely any atmosphere. It was crap.
Yeah. It's like I say, Rob, we need something. We need a bit of excitement. You know, Somerville tries to bring that. And Rob, I'm actually concerned about these 2 games coming up. I think the way we're playing, we could be on the end of a fucking hiding on both of these games, mate. I think it could get ugly. It could turn into a fucking bloodbath. And I think if it does, I think we'll have a new manager by Christmas. I just don't see him lasting. I hope I'm wrong because I want us to win, and I want to give the geezer a chance, Rob. I've actually been quite positive and supportive of him because I think he has got a decent CV, and I kind of keep looking back to Unai Emery at Arsenal. That it didn't look good a lot of the time, but then you're seeing what he's doing at Villa now, and he's a fucking good manager. So I'm thinking, give him a bit of time. But like you say, Rob, it's just, if it was just we was unlucky or the performances were boring, but for me, the team selection is just baffling. I just don't really get him.
Yeah, I've kind of given up now, mate, to be honest with you. I sort of, I look at, like I say, Paqueta and Antonio just keep getting churned out. And it's like, on what basis? I mean, their performances this season are no better than Alphonse Areola's, and he got dropped. So if you're going to apply the logic that, look, he's not cutting the mustard, he needs to go, which he did with Areola, and that was the correct decision in my opinion, because I do believe Fabianski's come in, and I don't really think he's put a foot wrong. So, but if you can do that with your goalkeeper, why not anybody else? Why is Areola being given the heave-ho, and Antonio and Paqueta still kept getting churned out? Is it because there's no better options? I don't believe that's the case, because I do think that Danny Ings, when he's come on, he's looked bright. He's looked like he's got the bit between his teeth. I just think I know that, but he got dropped. He did get dropped, Ricky, because he was on the bench for the Man United game, and he had a poor game. The game before that, he kept getting beat at his near stick. He needed to get dropped. Yeah. He did get dropped. He's out with a back injury now, though. You're correct.
Yeah. And the thing is, Rob, like I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I look at Tottenham, right? And Tottenham are starting Mikey Moore in games. They've got a young lad, Will Lancashire, that scored against Galatasaray during the week. You know, that gives the fans something to get excited about. Oh, we got, and no one can tell me we ain't got the talent. We've just won the youth league. So the players are there. Look, I know Lopetegui must see him in training, but I feel like Noble needs to bang down the door and go, listen, right? there's something written on the side of the pitch called the Academy of Football. Our fans are passionate about that, and we need to start seeing some fucking lads that would fucking give their right arm to run out in front of the West Ham fans. You know what I mean? Which, quite frankly, not many players on that pitch at the moment would.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. And it really, and that's kind of what surprises me because, and don't get me wrong, I didn't for 1 minute think that he was going to be Pep 2.0. I knew that it would be this type of football. It would be more possession than we had under his predecessor, but it wasn't going to be free-flowing attacking football. It was going to be this, and almost a little bit possession for possession's sake, it seems at times, if I'm being completely honest. But the thing that sort of like I did look at in his CV and his backstory and thought, actually, that might not be a bad thing, is that when you look at his early sort of coaching roles, they're in sort of like youth grade teams. So I sort of looked at that and I thought, right, actually, maybe he's going to be quite more invested than his predecessor because he's got that in his backstory. And you obviously you saw the video of the first day of him going to Rush Green, and he's having a nice little chat with George Earthy, and he seemed to be quite sort of into sort of getting to know him and whatever. And I thought, maybe this is the guy that's gonna involve some youth players and get them on the pitch in meaningful games and get them meaningful minutes. I'm not seeing that. So what the fuck is he offering?
Yeah. I mean, look, on the plus side, slightly diverging, Freddie Potts is doing well at Portsmouth. And George Earthy, now he's fit. He's started a couple of games for Bristol City. So I think, look, next season, hopefully they'll come back and be in it. But we can't look ahead that far. Rob, I think we're in a fucking relegation dogfight, mate. I think we are. I think, I think the two games coming up, all of a sudden, Wolves won their first game yesterday. People are picking up points around us, and I think we could be in trouble in the next two games. If
I think Colin's agreeing with you.
Yeah, I actually think that they're going. Yeah. So listen, mate. The jury's out on the manager. Things aren't great at the minute, but I feel like Bowen needs to step up as captain and someone that's been at the club a long time. Like, he needs to be calling the players together and going, look, regardless of if they think Lopetegui's a bit of a muppet or not, have they got any professional pride in their own performances? And at the minute, people are just walking around, and we, and do you know what, Rob? It looks a little bit like we look a little bit like Man United under Ten Hag. Do you get what I mean? Where the players look like, I'm not saying they've downed tools, but they're definitely not applying 100% effort.
No, I think that this is why I do think that there's something going on behind the scenes, because you look at what you see on the pitch, you hear certain stories coming from certain sources, and you just think all is not well behind the scenes. I really do think that I don't believe that this squad of players, that this collection of players are as bad as what they appear to be from what I've seen on the pitch, from where they currently are at in the Premier League table, which, just as I say that, there we are in the heady heights of 14th place, and we've got a team that got promoted last season that are 2 points off of us with a game in hand. So they win that game in hand. Guess what? We're 15th. Brilliant.
I mean, you look, right, and I just think, you look at Nottingham Forest, I think a third, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, look, on paper, you'd have our squad over Nottingham Forest, probably.
I'd say so, yeah. A couple of exceptions, but
there's players like Chris Wood. He's like, why weren't we in for him? Like, we should have been in for Chris Wood. Do you know what I mean? But he wouldn't have been a sexy, he doesn't feel like he's a sexy signing, but the guy's he delivers. Anyway, it's just, That's
lucky for us, Ricky, isn't it? That really is lucky for us.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to liven up. Rob, yeah. I mean, look, I think we hit the post.
We did, yes.
Pickford's
Couple of
made a
good
few
saves.
saves. Pickford's made a few saves. But really, Rob, that's all there is to say, isn't there? There's not really too much else to talk about.
No, it's pretty poor, and just what Colin said there. He's got a couple of names that he's got: Conceição, Hernes, and Frank. That's not Frank Lampard. I'm pretty sure that's Thomas Frank. But Thomas Frank's in a job, mate. Can you honestly see him going for him? Hernes, I'm pretty sure he's the Stuttgart coach, isn't he? Again, he's in a job. So anybody that's in a job right now, forget it. He is not going for them. He will go for the formula that stood him in good stead, apparently, which is to get managers that are currently on the dole queue. Wouldn't you know it? Newcastle have just equalised at Forest, so that's a 1-1 draw at the minute. Thank you, Ricky.
Look, Rob. I'd go for Graham Potter. I like Graham Potter. I think he's a good manager. Look, I've still got a little, it's dwindling fairly quickly. I've still got a little glimmer of hope that Lopetegui might come good. I don't know why. Maybe I'm fucking kidding myself. But like I say, I do think there's 2 tough games coming up. And I think if we, let's be honest, Rob, away at Newcastle and Arsenal at home, most people would say we'll probably end up with 0 points regardless, even if we was playing well. Like, we'll be underdogs for both of those games. Yeah?
Yes, 100%.
But it's the nature of the performance for me. You know what I mean? If we go down fighting, I'll accept it. Do you know what I mean? And even if we got 0 points, but we've give it a fucking good go, I'd think, well, look, give the guy more time. Do you know what I mean? But if we just go down with a whimper, like quite frankly we have in quite a few games, then I think he needs to be booted out the door, quite frankly.
Yeah, he needs to fucking get his P45, and he needs
I must admit, Rob, I did chuckle when I see your little graphic of him on the front page saying, "I know nothing."
That's hang on, let me press the button. That one. I know nothing. Yeah, El Pratador, as I've bestowed him that name.
Mate.
Yeah, I just don't see it though, mate.
I haven't really got too much more to say. It feels like this is a bit of a therapy session, and
has it worked?
No, I feel even more pissed off than when I started.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise.
So look, we move on, and like I say, a little glimmer of hope. A few of the lone lads are playing well and acquitting themselves well. And to be honest, Rob, I'm probably looking at Portsmouth fucking games more than ours, because I want to keep an eye on Freddie Potts.
We'll have to have a little trip down there one day. What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100%.
Can't be bad. Right. Okay. Well, that's all from us. As I say, we'll leave it there. Don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your socials. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. And don't forget, all these things that you can do take a couple of seconds of your time, don't cost you a copper coin, help to grow the channel into something bigger and better. We thank you very much indeed for your support. We're going to disappear. Don't forget to give your supports to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons.
Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons.